Welcome back, and we're moving to content number 7, and this is Corbel detailing in Tekla structure. So we have our elevation or gable side view of this particular structure, and this is project-based training in Udemy. And we'll go straight ahead and begin creating our Corbel. Now I'll press Control Tab here just to switch to isometric view, and I'll come to navigate under rotate with mouse. I'll come to navigate, then rotate with mouse after picking my rotation point. Now I want to pick my data point where I'll generate some points there to help in creating or coming up with a tab that will be helping us in creating and defining, in adding more details to make it a Corbel that will be suspending the crane beam, the crane beam up there. Now, if you take a look here, I have a midpoint here between these 2 points here. And that midpoint I created very simple by coming to edit, then coming to point by clicking that drop down arrow, and I pick the first option here. The first option here, I wanted the midpoint. So the midpoint, just pick that point and that point. So you'll get the midpoint of the 2 points that we've just clicked. Now I'm going to offset this point downward by 1500 millimeter. So I'm going to select it, then come to special copy here. Then under copy, I'll pick linear. So then under linear, I'll come to z-axis and take into account the position of the z-axis here. You can see it's pointing upward, but this time around we're moving downward. So we have to prefix that dimension with a negative sign because we are going against the direction of the z-axis. So let me prefix my dimension by a negative sign. So I'll key in 1500 there. So I would just need 1 point. I don't need 15 or 14 of them or 15 of them. Now I'll go ahead and click copy and give it an OK. So since we had zoomed close and we cannot see that depth of 1500, so we have to move down so that we locate the location of that particular point. Now, if I come to view and come to navigate and rotate with mouse and pick and left click and pick my rotation point and hold my mouse on the left button and move, you'll be able to see that point is actually out very far away from the web of our column. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to reflect or project this point to the edge or to the web of our column. And how am I going to do that? I'll still use this edit tool, then come to points here. So I'll come to at any point option here and pick on that. Now I'll snap on this point, then then activate this switch of and activate this switch of perpendicular. So if the moment I snap on this point and come to the edge of this particular column, I will snap. It will detect the perpendicular point relative to this particular point. So I just mouse over here and click on that spot. Then once I've moused here and I've clicked a point here, now I'll go to the other end and try to start seeking a point that will be perpendicular to this point here. So I just mouse at the edge of that, then click. So to confirm that, I'll come to view once again, or you can just press Ctrl R and pick your rotation point by left clicking, then you'll be able to rotate like this. So if I turn that round, you'll be able to see I'm actually, the point is actually right in the middle, but the middle one is actually out of the place between the two. So I have to generate or create now a midpoint of the two. Now, how do you do that? I'll come back to the same edit and come to at any point and pick the first option, then pick the 2 points to get the midpoint right there. So this point is still within the mark of 1500 downward. Now I want to offset this point once again because we want to create a stub of or a Corbel of 500 away from the column. Now I'm going to select on this point, then come to special copy here and pick on linear. So on linear, to copy this point, I'll take into account the direction of the x-axis. That is the direction that I'll key in the measurement here in that direction and click OK or click copy. Then I'll come to now, I'll check the direction of the x-axis you can see here, it's pointing on this direction. So I'll come to x-axis here and just key in 500. So I'll go ahead and click copy. So if I click copy, you'll be able to see this point has been projected to this point at 500 millimeter. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use these 2 points to create a stub or a corbel. Now I'll come to steel here and come to beam and just come here and create a member. But I want to use a PEB tool. So I'll just come to applications and component here and come here and just type PEB or PEB. Then if I scroll down, I'll just click inside, scroll down, and I'm looking for a PEB member. I'll pick on PEB member tool there, then I'll snap right at the center there and snap here. And if I leave that, I'll be able to, I would have created and I have created already a stub or a corbel that will be suspending a rail beam. Now, this a corbel just a seating that will suspend the crane beam here. Now you can see that. And the next thing I'm going to do is find a way on how this will be connected to the main column. So the next thing I'm going to do is very simple. I want a way I'll be able to weld the two. And remember, if you just weld directly like this, if you just weld directly, it will not respond. So I have to disable the assembly switch. So let me just try that. If I just type that one there, I need to get to a weld macro. Let me just type 85 and I'll need stanchion weld. So if I come here and I want to weld that to that, you'll be able to see I've created a weld, and it has been created because this switch is off. This assembly switch is off, select component switch is off. So if I come back and enable this and come back here and try to do the same thing, it might not work, and the welding will not be, the weld will not be created. So to confirm that, you can see if I turn it around like that, there's a big gap. It means there is no connection between the corbel or this tab and the column. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to disable these. I'm going to disable the select component switch and enable select objects in the component. So I'll switch that to that. Then come back, pick on the weld symbol. Now I want to weld this to that. I start with the flange, then come to that web, and again come here and weld that to that. So this has been welded. So this is a complete. This has been welded completely. So let me just right click and redraw just to clean up those symbol of weld. So let me just come to Navigator and try rotate this. So I want to add a stiffener here. So on the web side. Now to do that accurately, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create some points that will be able to guide me in placing the stiffeners there. So I'll come here, then come to edit. And first of all, I have to remove any points that will tend to mislead me. So the points I'm picking here are the points that slightly might mislead me when locating or tracing the points that will have created to help me create the stiffeners. Now I'll come to edit once again and come to point and pick on at any position option for the points. Now I'm going to select on this point and select on that point, just a point perpendicular to the point that I had created initially. So I'll select that. Now I want to transfer this point by clicking on it, then move to that side. I will have locate a point that is perpendicular to that point. So I'll just click on that spot. Now I'm going to use this same point and move to the other side and try to mouse over to the edge, and automatically Tekla will detect that this is perpendicular, and I'll snap on that spot. And once I've done so, I'll come to view, then come to navigate, and I'll pick option of rotate with mouse, then left click, then pick my rotation point and hold my left button on the mouse and move my mouse like that, and I'll be able to rotate my model. As simple as that. Now I'll right click to come out of that command by clicking interrupt. Then I want to transfer this point inward on the on the side of the web. Now I'll come to edit, then come to points, then pick on at any point option. Then I want to transfer this that way. So I'll just mouse over the edge of this web, or flange, then I'll be able to snap on that spot, right click and terminate that by clicking interrupt. Now I have these 4 points that will help me in creating the stiffeners. So what we do, I'll come to steel here and come to plate and click the drop down arrow, and I'll pick the first option. Now I'll start creating my point from that spot and move all the way to this spot here, and move to that spot there, and move to the other end there, and move to this end there, and snap on that point, and come close the polygon right there. So now I want to see this accurately, cleanly, and come to navigate, and I want to rotate like that, like that, and you can see it's slightly off, and we want to take that upward. Now I'll click on it. We'll just double click on it, and we'll have its properties in here, and we can shift that upward by maybe picking the front option, and that will take it right up there. So that has been created, and the thickness of the plate is 10 millimeter, and that should not vary, because you can see that there's a variance of the thickness between the flange the flange and the stiffness, and that is not an issue. What I'm going to do here, I'm also going to create something here. Now I'm going to add another stiffener right here. So let me just come to navigate here and pick rotation with point, and I want to rotate like that, and I'll come to steel, then come to plate and pick my plate like that, and I want to create a stiffener here using these corners here, and I'll just zoom out and try to track down these corners here, and I'll snap on that spot and come to this far end here, and close that gap, and we'll have a stiffener in place. So let's just give it some time if it will be able to generate a plate, and it's taking so much time. The polygon position pick, let me just right click and terminate that. There we are, and our plate has been created. Now I want to create a similar one, but what I'll do here is very simple. I'll select on it, right click, and come to copy, and just pick the copy here manually, and take this one here and place it somewhere here. Let me just place it right at the corner there. So that has been created. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to push these plates inward by 100 millimeter. So I'll select both plates and come to move and pick on linear. So under linear, I'll check first of all the direction of the x-axis. Where is it pointing? It's pointing in the opposite direction, and I have to prefix that dimension with a negative sign, which is 100, and then go ahead and click move. So it has moved on the other end. So the same thing I'm going to do here. So I'll select on that, right click, and come to spatial copy and pick on that, and I want to use the edge here, this edge here, and pick it from that spot and bring it somewhere here, and bring it all the way to that spot there, and have that in place. So I have my stiffeners on that spot. So the next thing, on the next presentation, or in the next on the second part, I'll be able to show you how we will create chamfers, and how we can mirror that on the other end, and depopulate every, and we mirror on this end. So let's meet then on the part 2 of the same topic, and bye bye.